Hello, we're Team Planeteers, and our solution aims to maintain the new increase the UK has seen in cycling as a result of COVID-19. We hope you enjoy our presentation. So why are we focusing on commuting by cycle? As you can see, the transport sector leads the UK in contribution to greenhouse gas emissions with 27% of all emissions. Additionally, COVID-19 led to a major shift in how people commuted, since public transport was no longer seen as a safe and viable option. This led to more people taking up cycling, as it was a more safe, socially distant form of traveling and exercise. Several cycling schemes, offers, and services were made available to support key workers commuting to work. Taken together, this presents a key timely opportunity to encourage and maintain new cycling behavior. For our intervention, we're applying a behavioral science approach, the COMBI model. This model, developed by Susan Mickey and colleagues, was used to analyze and understand the influences of a particular behavior. According to the model, capability, opportunity, and motivation interact to generate behavior and are interlinked as shown here. Based on this analysis, key barriers that need to change in order for the behavior to change can be identified. We identified three key barriers to cycling behavior in the literature. Firstly, a lack of safe, attractive, and extensive cycle networks and infrastructure discourages people from cycling in London. Less than 50% of cyclists are satisfied with the availability of cycle lanes. A strong link was found between infrastructure development and uptake of cycling in a comparative study of 6 European cities. Related to this, the fear of accidents and safety concerns also serves as a powerful barrier to cycling to work. 3 in 5 people in the UK think that it's too dangerous for them to ride a bike on the road, and a majority of people who are currently not cycling in London name lack of perceived safety as the main reason. Finally, cycling in London is associated with a particular social identity, which leads people who don't feel that they have the right age, ethnicity, or fitness level to consider it socially acceptable to cycle. For example, over 1/4 of Londoners currently not cycling say they don't think they are fit enough to cycle. Therefore, our intervention aims to increase perceived safety around cycling, implement comprehensive cycling infrastructure, and foster an inclusive culture and identity around cycling.
We are now going to introduce the three components of our intervention. Part 1, painted paths. Part 2, vital barometers. Part 3, safety nudges. The core component of our intervention will be to promote community participation in mobility planning to increase acceptance and awareness around cycling, known as the participatory approach. This approach contributes to developing a positive social norm that cycling is for everyone, and it will increase safety perception. Research has shown that the benefits of building comprehensive cycling infrastructure to increasing cycling levels, but a key aspect of why people may take up cycling and use the infrastructure provided is due to a very human motivation of wanting to belong and be part of a group. Our solution is focused on this human element. The participatory approach empowers people to identify mobility problems and provide sustainable solutions. It increases social engagement and cohesion to promote an inclusive cycling culture. It promotes pro-social, cooperative, and safety behaviours. It also creates awareness of the benefits of cycling, and it enables the transformation of the physical space, including aesthetics, which could increase the sense of belonging and positive associations around mobility. The first part of our intervention, which addresses all three of the barriers we mentioned, we will engage the community in painting the cycling paths in their own neighbourhoods. Local artists will be commissioned to work on this project, and members of the community will be asked to volunteer to paint their own paths. The artwork would be tailored according to the location's unique style. For example, Shoreditch is characterised by graffiti, and so the cycling lanes will be related to urban art concept. To ensure the safety is correctly considered, detailed guidelines will be produced to make sure that art is not of a distracting format. Another example is Columbia Flower Market. Here the paths might be painted with flowers. This will make the paths feel more connected to each area. In locations in which there isn't a distinctive element, members of the community could identify common symbols to increase social bonding and group identity. This could be done through interactive social elements where members of the community come together to design a common symbol with an artist present who can bring the idea to life.
Part 2 of our plan is to add bicycle barometers to major cycling intersections throughout London. Bicycle barometers, which tally daily and annual cyclists, have been placed in cities ranked among the most bike-friendly in the world, like Copenhagen. Previous barometers are effective behavioral trace indicators, meaning that they are good at providing evidence to passersby that there are significant numbers of cyclists on the road every day, and therefore have been a great way to generate positive social norms around cycling. The barometers serve several functions. They assist in city planning by providing reliable data on the change in bicycle usage, raise awareness for cycling as an important mode of transport, encourage cycling by presenting it as socially desirable, and provide cyclists with salient acknowledgement. However, we believe these functions can be improved upon when they are brought to London. Our new design will be more noticeable and make it much clearer that the barometers are counting cyclists by changing the color and adding salient cycling iconography. Additionally, the barometers will have a goal-setting progress tracker to encourage an increase in cyclists over time, as goal setting has been shown to be an effective behavior change mechanism. And lastly, the new barometer will contribute to positive reinforcement with cycling by displaying positive messaging and iconography. Part 3 of our plan is to introduce safety nudges to bike paths. Research into barriers to cycling in London showed that the fast cycling culture was a significant social norm barrier to unpracticed cyclists. To combat this, we propose some safety nudges that can be introduced into bike lanes to reduce fast cycling and increase the perceived safety of cycling. Specifically, we propose widening lanes to add more space between cyclists and traffic, and adding speed strips to reduce speeds in cycling lanes. People feel uncomfortable when they are passed by cyclists going far faster than they are, and they believe that other cyclists are annoyed by slower riders. In addition, accidents involving cyclists often occur at intersections that make it difficult to keep an eye on all road users. Our nudge-driven solutions build upon insights that adding painted strips or visually narrowing the lane have been shown to be an effective and highly accepted way to make cyclists slow down before dangerous intersections, as they increase perception of speed. After the community painting of paths has been completed, construction workers will add these other elements to new and existing bike paths.
We're now going to talk through the proposed roadmap for our intervention. Firstly, we will engage the community by asking them where they think the priorities or best areas are for improved or new cycle path development, whilst also asking them where they think the bike barometers could be best placed. Stage 2 will see town planners working with the community to incorporate their insights into statistical data that help us to be sure of where is the best areas for paths and barometers. In stage 3, we'll go ahead once all construction and painting work has been completed. It will be where we involve the community with the Paint Your Path days and bike barometer launching ceremonies to really kick off the project. The final stage will be once all of the bike barometers and Paint Your Path days have been launched, and we will be able to see both the local and wider community seeking out all the different art cycle paths across London and enjoy recording their cycling on the bike barometer and overall working to make cycling open for everyone in the community.
As part of our intervention, we would carry out an evaluation process to assess impact and acceptability. We would pilot the intervention at randomly sampled neighborhoods across London, which would include delivering the 3 aspects of our intervention. From the pilot, we would gather qualitative information by conducting short interviews. This aims to understand people's experiences with the community activities and their experience cycling and whether the intervention was acceptable and effective. The bicycle barometer will serve as a quantitative measure to evaluate whether cycling in the neighborhoods has increased over time. Once impact and acceptability have been assessed, the project can be modified if necessary and scaled up and implemented across other areas in London and cities across the UK. Recently, the UK government announced a £2 billion investment to promote cycling and walking, of which a large amount will be allocated to improving cycling infrastructure. This means that the most expensive part of our intervention will already be budgeted for and taking place across the UK, making this a relatively cost-effective intervention that aligns with existing government plans, making it more practical to persuade decision makers. This intervention, while delivered cost effectively, has the potential to have major impacts across multiple sectors. The intervention can be easily scaled up if deemed effective, and a study projected that if cycling doubled every 8 years across 7 cities in the UK, it could result in the saving of £21 billion. 34,000 incidences of major diseases would be prevented, 345,000 tons of greenhouse gases could be saved annually, and £391 million could be saved by the NHS over the next 20 years. Cycling bodies such as Cycling UK are already lobbying for the improvement of cycling paths, and as mentioned previously, the government has heavily invested in developing this infrastructure. By involving local professional artists in painting the cycle paths, it supports artists who might be struggling due to lack of employment because of the pandemic. And finally, the design of the artwork used will have to follow strict guidelines in accordance with city planners so as to not be a distraction and cause traffic safety concerns.
We're now just going to go over a roundup. Just to summarise again, our participatory approach looks to move through the community, starting with engagement, onto planning, and through to involvement, and finally, enjoyment of cycling for everyone. Thank you for listening.